Hi, I'm reviewing a beer that not everyone might care about or even have access to. It's Schilling Beer Company's Alexandr 10, a Czech Pilsner. So Schilling is a brewery way up above the White Mountains in New Hampshire, about an hour from Hill Farmstead. That's how I found them. And under their Schilling brand, they do traditional European stuff mostly, and they just started doing American style beers under their brand Resilience. And this is the first time they've ever shipped any Schilling cans down to the Boston area. I picked up their German style Pilsner in Portland, Maine over the summer, so it seems like they're slowly gonna send some of this stuff out because they have a new big facility where they're brewing bigger batches. So you might see this around soon, and they are kind of masters of a lot of European styles at Schilling, I would have to say, and a lot of people agree with me. If you look at their reviews of their beers, the ratings aren't super high, but the people who do write about them and actually give descriptions on Untapped or places will usually say they're really good. But a lot of American beer drinkers, they're not turned on by traditional European stuff, but I am. And this is a lager. They really do their lagers really well, so I thought it would be worth talking about it. Maybe if you happen to see one of their beers around, you'll be more likely to get it. I think they're very fantastic. So this is 5% alcohol. It's a little bit strong for a Czech Pilsner, and I had it on tap at the brewery like the first time I ever went there, and I was like, this is pretty darn good. Like the first time I went to the brewery, it was after I was at Hill Farmstead, and I was surprised. I was like, these beers are not lackluster or anything after experiencing a lot of good Hill Farmstead beers. All right, let's just do this thing. So I'll check the canning date in a second. I think it's pretty fresh. They use Moravian Pilsner malt in this one from the Czech Republic. Got a really nice head, full. You can see those little bubbles hanging out there. Tiny, a few little tiny particulates. Almost looks filtered though. They do not advertise this as an unfiltered Keller beer or anything like their German Pilsner. And the reason it's called Alexandr 10 is because I believe it's 10 Play-Doh. When they make the wort. Play-Doh is one of the ways of measuring the density of sugars in beer. So 10 Play-Doh is actually pretty low, and this is 5% alcohol, so it's rather attenuated, rather dry for a Czech Pilsner. And it's pale, but it's not quite as pale as some German Pilsners. I want to think that it's probably decocted. That's where they take some of the mash out and boil it to caramelize it, because I think it'd be hard to get that much color out of just Pilsner. But yeah, it didn't say on their website. Maybe it's just the use of their Moravian malt. But you can see that head is sticking around, not going anywhere. This is what you want a Czech Pilsner to look like. That smells really nice too. I get like a vanilla wafer smell, like vanilla cookies. And wheat thins. Yeah, wheat thins actually describes it pretty well, even though there's no wheat in this, but it has that slightly sweet, slightly nutty grain aroma with some nice herbal lemon tea noble hops. It smells really nice, really clean, a little bit of minerality in there. Yeah, I like that, and I really enjoy the touch of nutty vanilla in there. Like lots of fresh bready stuff happening. Very light body. Gets more minerally, and it's very, very dry and quite bitter for a Czech Pilsner. Czech Pilsners are usually a little less dry and less bitter than German Pilsners, a little bit more malty. This one's definitely like an American take, because most Czech Pilsners are, under 5%. Pilsner Urquell even 4.4. And my favorite Czech Pilsner is the National Standard is also 4.4. So this is, I don't know, I guess because they use the real Czech ingredients, it does give it that Czech Pilsner twinge and the kind of very malty quality to it. But then it finishes with lots of almost coarse floral herbal qualities from the hops, and it's really dry. There's not much residual sweetness, so it's not like any Czech Pilsner I've really had, except for some other American ones that are even stronger and more dry. And the head's sticking around beautifully. But wow, has a strong minerally lager finish, almost sulfury. But then that combined with just the dryness, and I wonder how much hops they use in this. If it's actually a lot more, or just if somehow they utilized them, it ended up bringing up more bitterness. I think they're still sort of figuring out their new big brew system. I got the first ever batch of cans they did back last summer in their new brewery, and it wasn't quite as good. It was some IPAs they released, and the yeast profile was not quite as clean. So maybe they'll, as they work on these cans, they'll get better and better. But when I looked up my review of this from the first time I ever had it, it seemed pretty similar. I think this might be a little more dry and bitter. Yeah, I would almost recommend this to people who want a German-style Pilsner, because the bitterness and the dryness is actually more than most German Pilsners out there. It's a very, very well-made beer, but not exactly what I want. I love my dry pale lagers, but this is just a little too much, which some American brewers do, but there's just a lingering, woody, twiggy, leafy bitterness. It's really drying out my tongue. It seems like there must be, I don't know, 40, 50 IBUs or even more in this, when usually Czech Pilsners are only about 30 or something. It's very easy to drink. But if you're looking for a flavorless Pilsner, this is not that one. If you want to try a Pilsner that's really going to be a pop of flavor, big dryness, big hop notes, this is the way to go. It almost seems like it's hopped as much as an IPA, or maybe more like a pale ale. It's not dry hopped. That would make it very, very non-Czech, but it's a really good beer. I give it a 4, but I definitely like the Notch Standard more. I like my Czech Pilsners to have a little bit more sweetness to them. I think if they just made it a teeny bit less bitter and a little less attenuated, then it would be a near perfect beer. But the carbonation, the head retention, and everything is very nice. So yeah, I would still recommend this beer, but just know that you're getting what you're getting into. It's not going to be exactly like an old world Czech Pilsner. Goodbye.